Ty Borden is back. The moment fans never thought they would see again has finally happened. After years of heartbreak, unanswered questions, and endless theories, episode 1 of season 19 gives us a shocking return that no one was ready for. But this return isn't just about one man walking back into Heartland. It's about the pain of the past colliding with the hope for the future. The question now is, what does Ty's reappearance mean for Amy, for the family, and for the ranch that has held their memories for so long? Before we can understand the weight of Ty's shocking return, we need to look back at the journey that brought him here. Ty Borden wasn't just another character in Heartland. From the moment he arrived, he represented second chances, healing, and the idea that broken people can still build something beautiful. When Ty first came to Heartland as a troubled young man, he carried the scars of his past like heavy chains. But the ranch gave him more than just work. It gave him a family, a home, and a chance to change. Amy Fleming was at the center of that change. Their relationship wasn't built overnight. It was slow, messy, and filled with challenges, but it was also real. Ty and Amy learned to trust each other through the hardest of times, through training horses, dealing with loss, and facing danger. Over the years, their bond became the heart of the show. For fans, they weren't just a couple. On TV, they were proof that love could grow stronger even in the face of hardship. But then came the turning point no one expected. Ty's sudden death left viewers in shock. One moment, he was the strong, dependable partner by Amy's side. The next, he was gone, leaving behind unanswered questions and a grieving family. For Amy, it meant raising their daughter, Lyndy, alone. For fans, it meant the end of one of the most beloved storylines in Heartland history. The pain of that loss has never fully healed. Even years later, many viewers still talk about Ty as if he were more than just a character. They speak of him as a piece of the show's very soul. This is why his return in season 19 is so powerful. It isn't just a surprise twist, it's a moment that reopens old wounds while also sparking new hope. Viewers who once cried at his absence now find themselves holding their breath, waiting to see if this is real. Could Ty truly be back? Or is this some kind of dream, a vision, or a fleeting memory brought to life on screen? Whatever the truth, one thing is clear. The weight of Ty's story makes his reappearance feel larger than life. The ranch itself also plays a role in this emotional journey. Heartland has always been more than a backdrop. It is a place of healing, where broken people and broken horses find second chances. Ty's bond with the land was strong. Every fence he fixed, every horse he helped, and every quiet moment he shared with Amy under the wide Alberta sky reminded viewers that Heartland was where he belonged. His presence there was as natural as the mountains in the distance. And when he left, it felt like part of the land went with him. So when episode 1 of season 19 shows Ty again, standing in the very place that defined him, it's not just a plot twist, it's a homecoming. It stirs memories of everything he has meant to the people around him and everything he has meant to fans. His journey has always been about redemption, love, and belonging. Now, with his shocking return, those themes are alive again, pulling everyone back into the story with renewed passion. The opening moments of season 19, episode 1 are quiet, almost too quiet, the kind of silence that makes you lean in because you know something is about to happen. The ranch looks the same as it always has, the golden fields swaying with the wind, the soft sounds of horses in the distance, and that familiar sky that seems endless. But there is something different in the air, something heavy, almost electric. And then, without warning, the moment that no one could have predicted arrives. Ty Borden appears. It is not a loud entrance. There is no dramatic music blasting, no grand announcement. Instead, the scene unfolds with a kind of softness that makes it even more powerful. At first, it is just a glimpse: boots walking across the dirt path, a shadow stretching across the barn, the sound of steady footsteps. The camera lingers on these details, forcing the audience to piece it together, to question what they are seeing. And then, finally, the reveal. Ty older, changed, but unmistakably Ty. For a moment, time itself seems to stop. The shock of this moment works on two levels. For the characters, it is as if the past has risen from the ground to stand in front of them again. For the audience, it is like a promise long broken has finally been restored. The writers understand the weight of this scene and do not rush it. Ty does not speak right away. He stands there, breathing, letting the reality of his presence settle in. And that silence is louder than any words could be. But the question immediately crashes in. How? How is Ty here when we all know the story of his death? Is this really him, or are we being tricked? The brilliance of the return lies in the uncertainty. Some fans believe it is a dream sequence, that Amy is seeing him in her grief. Others are convinced it is a flashback, a memory being brought to life to give closure. And then there are those who dare to believe that this is real, that Ty has returned in the flesh, with a story yet to be told. The camera work deepens the mystery. Ty's face is lit in a way that feels both familiar and distant. His expression carries a weight that suggests he has been through something beyond what anyone can imagine. His eyes, steady yet vulnerable, hold secrets that are waiting to be revealed. And that is what makes this scene unforgettable. It doesn't give answers, it gives questions. It hands the audience a puzzle and asks them to feel every emotion while they try to solve it. The moment also ties back to the themes that Heartland has always carried: life, death, healing, and the way people continue to live with their memories. Ty's reappearance is not just about shocking the audience. It forces everyone, Amy, Jack, Georgie, and even the viewers at home to confront their own emotions. Is this a miracle? Is it a cruel trick of the mind? Or is it something in between, a blending of reality and memory? What makes this return so unique is its tone. Other shows might use a character's comeback as a loud, dramatic twist. But Heartland does the opposite. It whispers the return into existence, letting it feel natural and organic, like Ty was always meant to walk back onto that land. There are no explosions, no big speeches. Just the quiet, steady truth of his presence, and sometimes that is even more powerful. The episode also plants small details that suggest there is more to Ty's story. His clothes look worn, as though he has been on a long journey. His movements are slower, thoughtful, as if he has carried a heavy burden. And though he has not yet spoken, the weight in his eyes suggests he knows the pain his absence has caused. It's as if he has returned not just to the ranch, but to the very heart of the people he left behind. And this is why the return feels so shocking. Because it isn't just about Ty. It is about everything his presence brings back: the love Amy thought she had lost, the trust the family built around him, the life that was torn apart when he was gone. His reappearance is not a single moment. It is a wave that crashes into every character and every viewer at the same time, stirring up emotions that were buried but never gone dead by the end of this sequence. One thing is certain: Ty's return is not just another storyline. It is the spark that will set the entire season on fire. It reopens the questions we thought were answered. It challenges the grief we thought was settled. And it reminds us why Heartland has always been more than just a show. It is a story about family, resilience, and the way love lingers, even when we think it has been lost forever. The return of Ty Borden is not just a personal shock to Amy. It sends a ripple through the entire Heartland family. For years, each of them has carried the weight of his absence in their own way, and seeing him again in episode 1 of season 19 pulls every buried emotion to the surface. The ranch may look peaceful, but in that moment, it becomes a storm of conflicting feelings: grief, joy, anger, disbelief, and above all, love. For Amy, the moment is almost too much to bear. She has lived every day since Ty's death with a silent ache that never left her. Raising Lyndy alone, watching her daughter grow up without her father, it was a wound that never fully healed. And now, suddenly, here he stands. At first, she does not trust her own eyes. She freezes, her breath caught in her chest, as if even blinking might cause him to disappear again. The disbelief is stronger than the joy. Her body remembers the pain of losing him, and it will not let her hope too quickly. For Amy, this return feels like balancing on the edge of a cliff, wanting to jump into his arms but terrified of falling into another heartbreak. Georgie's response carries another layer of complexity. To her, Ty was not just family, he was a role model. He taught her lessons about patience, about horses, about pushing through life's challenges. His death left her shaken, as though the foundation she had relied on had cracked. Now, seeing him again fills her with a burst of joy, but also confusion. She is old enough to know that miracles rarely come without cost. Part of her wants to run forward, to hug him, to believe that everything can go back to the way it was. But another part whispers that things can never be the same. Ty's return forces Georgie to confront her own beliefs about trust, resilience, and the way life works. And then there is Lyndy, the child who never really got to know her father. For her, this moment is not burdened with history or skepticism. It is pure innocence. She sees Ty, and her face lights up with curiosity and warmth. To her, he is not a ghost from the past, but simply the man she has heard stories about, the father who existed only in bedtime tales and family memories. When she runs to him, calling out Daddy, it breaks the tension in the air. In that single, innocent act, she reminds everyone what is at stake, not just the past, but the future. For Lyndy, Ty's return is not about grief or doubt. It is about the chance to finally know the man she has always deserved to have in her life. Beyond the immediate family, the ranch itself seems to react. Lou, Tim, and even the animals reflect the shock in their own ways. Lou, always pragmatic, struggles to process what this means for Amy and the rest of the family. Tim, with his complicated history of fatherhood and absence, sees in Ty's return a mirror of his own past mistakes and the possibility of second chances. The horses, sensitive to the emotions of those around them, shift uneasily in their stalls, as if they too can feel the tension in the air. What makes these reactions so powerful is their honesty. No one reacts in the same way, and that is what makes it real. Grief never leaves people in the same shape, and Ty's return pulls at every scar differently. Amy trembles between hope and fear. Jack hides his love behind a wall of caution. Georgie feels the pull between joy and doubt. Lyndy embraces the moment with pure, unguarded love. Together, their responses create a portrait of what it means to be a family, messy, emotional, and deeply human. And through it all, one truth begins to settle in. Ty's return is not just about him. It is about everyone who has lived with his absence, everyone who has had to rebuild their lives without him. His reappearance is the spark that forces them to face what they thought they had buried. It reopens wounds, but it also offers the possibility of healing. It tests their strength, their trust, and their love for one another. And in true Heartland fashion, it shows us that family is not about easy answers. It is about walking through the storms together, even when the path is unclear. Ty Borden's return in Season 19, Episode 1 is not just a twist in the storyline. It is a turning point that forces the audience, the characters, and even the very essence of Heartland to grapple with bigger questions. This is where the show reveals its true strength, not in surprises for the sake of drama, but in how those surprises peel back layers of meaning. Ty's reappearance is more than just a man walking back into a familiar place. It is a symbol, a metaphor, and a test of everything the characters believe about love, healing, and family. At its core, Heartland has always been about the balance between life and loss. Horses heal, families mend, but scars remain. Ty embodied that theme from the beginning. He was a broken young man who found a way to rebuild himself with the help of Amy and the ranch. His journey proved that people can change, that even the hardest pasts can lead to brighter futures. But when he died, the show shifted into a darker lesson. Sometimes love is not enough to protect us from life's cruelties. His absence was. A reminder that even the strongest bonds can be severed in an instant. Now, with Ty's return, the show adds yet another layer. What if loss itself does not have the final word? What if healing is not about forgetting the person who is gone, but about learning to carry them until the story brings them back in unexpected ways? His reappearance, whether real or imagined, forces every character to reconsider what it means to move forward. For Amy, it asks the hardest question of all. Did she ever truly move on? Or has a part of her always been waiting, hoping, resisting the finality of his death? Symbolically, Ty's return represents unfinished business. Grief is never neat, never complete. It lingers, it circles back, it resurfaces when least expected. In this way, Ty's presence is a physical manifestation of the truth that love never really dies. Even when someone is gone, their influence, their memory, and their impact live on in the people who loved them. By bringing Ty back into the story, the show reminds us that love leaves echoes, and sometimes those echoes feel just as real as the person themselves. There is also the theme of second chances. Heartland has always been about giving both people and animals another shot at life. Horses with trauma find healing. Families broken by mistakes find ways to reconcile. Ty's return is the ultimate second chance. If he is truly alive, then it is a second chance for Amy, for Lyndy, and for the life they thought was stolen from them. If he is not truly alive, if his reappearance is a vision or a dream, then it is still a second chance of a different kind. A chance for Amy to face her grief, to find closure, and to speak the words she never got to say. Another theme at play is the idea of truth versus illusion. The episode deliberately blurs the line between what is real and what is imagined. Is Ty's return a miracle or a mirage? That uncertainty is not a flaw, it is the point. Life often places us in situations where we do not know what is real, where our feelings blur with our fears, where hope clashes with logic. By refusing to give us immediate answers, the show mirrors the human experience of grief and longing. We all know what it is like to wish someone could come back, even if just for one more day. Ty's return captures the universal ache. Thematically, his presence also challenges the ranch itself. Heartland has always been a place of healing, but healing does not mean erasing the past. By showing Ty on the land again, the writers highlight how deeply he is woven into its fabric. Every fence post, every pasture, every horse carries memories of him. His return reminds the family and the audience that Heartland is not just a backdrop for the story. It is a living space where the past and present collide, where healing is ongoing, and where love is written into the land itself. Finally, Ty's return pushes the audience to reflect on their own lives. Fans who have lost loved ones see themselves in Amy's hesitation, Jack's doubt, Georgie's confusion, and Lyndy's innocence. The theme is not simply about whether Ty is alive or not, it is about how people handle the return of something they thought was gone forever. Do we embrace it with joy? Do we fear it will be taken away again? Do we question it until it loses its magic? Or do we simply allow ourselves to feel, to hope, to believe in the impossible? This is what makes Season 19's opening so powerful. It is not just storytelling. It is an exploration of grief, memory, hope, and the fragile line between holding on and letting go. Ty's shocking return is both a gift and a challenge for the characters and for us. It reminds us that love never disappears, that loss is never fully healed, and that sometimes the most important journeys are the ones we take inside our own hearts.